Hello everyone, and welcome to the Angry Botcast. I'm your host, Crazy Eddie. Today we're watching a 0K match, a 2 versus 2 team game. On the red team, we have Steel Blue and Shadwo. On the blue team, we have Need for Sleep and Jared 200. The map is Red Comet. Let's begin. On the red team, right away we have a light vehicle factory, and no factory drop yet for Shadwo, but he's going to be dropping shields. So shields and light vehicles. On the blue team, we have Cloaky bots from Jared 200 and light vehicles from Need for Sleep. Light vehicles is a good pick on this, so it's no surprise that there's two different ones going with light vehicles. It's a flat map, and that plays very well to light vehicle strength. Now we start off with darts coming out, scouts from both sides. They're going to cross here in the middle, exchange a little bit of fire, but then nothing happens. Oh, and nope, still just going on their merry way, which is expected. With scouts, you really want to see what's going on the other side and not just try to attack anything that's passing by. So, what do they see? Let's see, the scout here from the blue team is managing to spot the position of Steel Blue in the upper right corner, also scouting down here in the lower right and seeing that there's nothing there. Meanwhile, the red and yellow team doesn't seem to have gotten much scouting over here on the left side of the blue team. With the initial position staked out, let's see where things go from there. So, Shadwo has a few bandits out already. 4 of them now. That's a pretty aggressive force, and it looks like he might be moving into enemy territory with them, or just holding out in the middle for a while, maybe building up a slightly larger force with that. Scorchers now coming out from Steel Blue. Several of them. Looks like quite a few Scorchers here, making their move towards the middle, and we have some engagement. Scorchers now coming in from the west, but they met their match with several bandits here in the middle, so no ground gained there. Scorchers moving across the top, seeing no resistance, making a lot of headway, looking for targets, not finding anything, looking for resistance, not finding any resistance. Now, as far as expansion goes, we see some comms coming out, or some constructors coming out from everybody. We've got some expansion there, some expansion there, some expansion there, but I gotta say that is looking in jeopardy as the Scorchers from the red team are moving in on the blue team's position here, and that Mason is going to be not long for this world here. Moving on blithely and killed. With plenty of opportunity for the Scorchers to move on and make further inroads here. Attacking back behind the base. This base doesn't have much defense there, so it is ripe for the picking. Scorchers are firing against the Solars, not doing a whole lot of damage, keeping their distance. Not picking up that mechs. That's a little surprising. Defenses are 1 light tower and a level 0 commander, so not much in the way of defenses, but the Scorchers still move on. They press on down here, take out a light tower. This base is also looking fairly undefended, but the Scorchers mostly just focusing on the Solars, and here comes the Glaives. Glaives out of the Cloaky bot factory. They're going to clean up the last of the Scorchers here. Oh, but taking very heavy casualties along the way. Still, that leaves a good bit of reclaim for Team Blue to be able to pick up over on their side. Map control. Red team is doing pretty well. They've got half the map and are starting to fill in. You can see that they're getting the economic advantage here as well by getting those metal spots captured. Blue team is staking out a position in the middle with a Ravager and another Ravager and a Leveler, and with another Leveler coming up behind it as well, so pretty tough set of units here, staking out a spot in the middle, but not much behind it yet. Starting to get some expansion, just a little bit from blue team. Down here they've got some expansion, pretty well defended with the laser towers as well, and working on some expansion here, but that's in pretty close contact with the enemy, so we'll see how well it does. Speaking of contact with the enemy, Leveler and Ravagers are going up against some Scorchers, quite a few there. They're really mixing it up. And we have some thugs and bandits from the shield bot coming in from the east, putting the squeeze on. Let's see how that plays out. Now, the levelers and the ravagers have more mass behind them, so they're at the advantage. And they're not getting squeezed from both sides. The Scorchers are running off to go do what they do best, which is destroy undefended enemy positions, rather than trying to put pressure on the levelers and ravagers, who managed to clean up those shield bots pretty handily. So, let's see how we're looking now. Well, the Need for Sleep has managed to hold on to his position in the middle. However, the Team Blue lost the expansion behind it to those Scorchers that moved in. So holding the position doesn't help much if you don't have the income behind it. Speaking of income, actually right now it's pretty evenly matched. About 20 all around. That's doing pretty well. And now it's a Ravager on Ravager fight, with a couple of shield bots coming in. That outlaw is not going to be much help. Probably going to get taken out pretty quickly by a leveler or a Ravager, but no, I take it back. Team Red is managing to outmass Team Blue and is pushing the back pretty substantially. Here comes a Scythe. Is the Scythe going to be able to do anything? Yes, it takes out one unit, but draws an awful lot of fire, and that's all it writes. That's all she wrote for that Ravager. Sorry for that Scythe. So once again, Team Red is doing a pretty good job keeping up more mass in these small fights here. That means that they can do a better job of killing the enemy because they have more units, and more units beats less units. Here comes two Glaives and a Scythe trying to pick off a lone Ravager. Probably be able to do a pretty good job of it. They've managed to cut it off from its friends. But here come the friends not being cut off after all. Scythe goes down. And the Glaives are toast. So now, looks like Team Red is doing a pretty good job holding the middle. A couple of Cloaky Bot Constructors here trying to run away. Actually trying to build up some towers, and that's not going to help. They are toast. Now, what's going up here in this corner? Need for Sleep is putting laser towers in everywhere like they were trees. Not certain why. He's turned this into a field of death for anybody that wants to come in, but nobody wants to come in. There's just not that much there. Maybe he's trying to make a safe haven for his own units in case they need a spot to retreat to. Now, what units is he pushing out? He's pushing out 3 Ravagers and a Leveler, moving in, and not much to meet them. Oh, here comes a Roach, and oh, takes out one of those mini tanks, but not the rest. Meanwhile, just one Ravager in opposition. Here comes a Tick, and the Tick does an awful lot of friendly fire. Still, that was enough. It's a Roach. Ticks and Roaches ruling the day here in the middle. And we have a lot of construction vehicles coming in to get reclaimed. That's a great, great move. And now Team Blue is doing a pretty good job holding the middle. If they can hold that middle with all of those constructors in there, that's a lot of metal they'll be able to sweep up. But Team Red is coming in with a couple of Ravagers and a couple of Thugs. It's a little light compared to the 4 Ravagers they have there, but more are on the way. More Ravagers, more Thugs coming in from all over. That's going to give the red team the advantage here for sure. Now those constructors have managed to put up a defender and a laser tower. That'll help quite a bit. Having that massive constructors there is a pretty nice tactic. It lets you throw up some towers, but it's no substitute for having serious units. Now, a Tick came in and has paralyzed a lot of these units. Are they going to be able to capitalize on that? Can they take them out before the paralysis wears off? We shall see. There is a lot of red and yellow in here. They have the advantage. Are they going to be able to press it and keep it? We'll see. This is a pretty nice fight here. Pretty good scrimmage. Getting to see a lot of stuff going on here. Towers are going up. Towers are being taken out almost as fast as they go up. Maybe even a little faster. But while they're up, they're getting some value out of it, and those constructors are not stopping. They are putting up more. The Ravagers here have fallen back. They're falling back. Yes, they are falling back. I'm not certain why. I think they had the advantage. They probably could have pressed it. Maybe they're just falling back to get more numbers to get a bigger advantage. That seems like a reasonable approach to me. Now let's take a quick look and see what else is going on the map. Oh my goodness. Team Red and Yellow have done a very good job getting their mexes built all back on their half of the map, and it's showing up in the income numbers for sure. 30 and 30 versus 15 and 30, and that's even with reclaim here in the middle, so red team definitely has the economic advantage. Blue team, lots of mexes back here that they could be trying to capture, but they're not getting into it, so that is definitely going to hurt them. They are falling behind on the economic game, and 0K is all about the economic game. Now, this massive Ravagers has broken through blue team's stand in the middle, and they are going full speed ahead towards their back lines, towards the factory, trying to do some serious damage. Glaives coming in. I don't think they're going to be much help. There's just not enough of them. But they are really mixing it up in there. Some Ravagers from the blue team, those probably help quite a bit. Outlaws coming in to try to clean up the Glaives and doing a fine job of that. 2 Outlaws there. The Glaives just don't stand a chance. But that Ravager is probably going to be able to do a number on those Glaives, on the Outlaws, before it gets taken out itself. It's getting tight. It's getting tight. Who's going to win? Who's going to win? I think the Outlaw here has it. And here come in some more shield bots, so that's going to clinch it. And if you just look, it's just a wave of red and yellow. Now, yellow is sending in a stream of bandits, and those are going one by one. That's never a good move. You send in the units one by one, they will die one by one. You really want to build up mass. And it looks like he agrees with me. He's pulling some back to try to build up a little more mass before moving in. Meanwhile, those Ravagers definitely have the mass on their side. There's a ton of them. So now at this point, it's really just a matter of deciding when to move in. Or when to move out. And it looks like Need for Sleep has decided to do exactly that. Need for Sleep has resigned and turned all of his units over to his partner, Jared 200. That's going to make it difficult. Now, it looks like Jared 200 is pretty far behind. If you check the numbers, 30s and 30s versus 35, so red team has about double the income of the blue team, about 1.5 times the number of units of the blue team. Now, Jared 200 is trying to resurrect some units, which is an interesting tactic, very helpful, saves on metal, but I think it's a foregone conclusion. Even this string of Roccos down here, and the Glaives, I think, are going to be meeting their match when they pile into this giant mass of Ravagers here. Once they build up that mass, it's hard to stop them. I think at this point, it's really just a matter of time before Jared 200 has to throw in the towel. And he loses his comm, and the resign goes up, and the game is over. Steel Blue and Shadow have taken this 2 versus 2. Congratulations, and thank you everyone for joining.